Hi there, I'm Andrew, you're watching ThatGamerAjax, and welcome to the tabletop. Now, as somebody that is very interested in trying to teach people how to play tabletop games like Dungeons & Dragons, I am used to taking players that are brand new to the game and trying to really teach them the fundamentals, how to get into the game, how to pick the race and the class that might suit them best. Now, when it comes to this, one of the questions I usually get is kind of what's a good starting point? What is something that is easy to play? And let me tell you, there are a lot of great options out there, but I've kind of narrowed this list down to 3 that are my personal favorites, and I want to go ahead and detail what those are and what my reasoning behind it is. So please stay tuned, and if one of these classes really speaks to you, let me know about it in the comments below, or if you have a better recommendation, let me know about that too. I am always interested in hearing what other people have to say. So first up, let's go ahead and dive right on in with one of my personal favorite classes, the Path of the Ancestral Guardian Barbarian. Now, I try not to make it that much of a secret that the Barbarian is my favorite class. I personally think it's one of the more underrated ones when it comes to Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and there are quite a few reasons why I like this class. One, it's strength-based. I like playing martial classes, so it really kind of like fits into that flavor. But along with that, Barbarians are very good at the early stages of the game. The rage mechanic that they get allows them to cut most incoming damage in half, especially what you're going to be dealing with in those early levels when you're looking at levels 1 through 5. When you get access to this class at level 3, you're also able to start really kind of helping the rest of your party out when you are using that rage. You get access to your Ancestral Guardians that will come in and help you during combat. And what this means is that when you are attacking an enemy, the Guardians will kind of help like swarm them, at least that's how it says in the flavor text, and makes it so that way if that opponent that you're attacking tries to hit somebody other than you, they gain disadvantage, meaning that your Dungeon Master has to roll twice to take the lower number to hit that ally. And if the attack does manage to hit them, it means that they are only going to be hit for half damage, meaning that an Ancestral Guardian Barbarian is able to kind of become this very aggressive, very tanky class that the Dungeon Master is going to have to kind of focus on, but luckily that's where a high health pool and being able to cut most incoming damage in half is going to be very beneficial. Barbarians are also really easy to play in my opinion. You don't have a whole lot of traits that you're having to track, and really the large health pool, being able to cut damage in half, and just some of the other natural benefits that you get. You don't have to worry about armor. You don't have to really worry about most traps and everything like that because of some of the natural things that you get by playing this class. Now, along with being a very aggressive tank, the Ancestral Guardian Barbarian is also able to create a spirit shield once you hit level 6. What you can do is use your reaction, and if an ally is going to be targeted by an attack, you can reduce that by a certain amount. It starts out with 2 6-sided dice and eventually gets stronger the later you play it in the game, meaning that this is a pretty valuable trait no matter what once you get it. Once you hit level 14 with this class, which is usually a little past where most of the pre-written campaigns are, but if you're playing with friends, you can always go longer than that. You can actually take the Spirit Shield and you can reflect damage back at the attack, making it not only a good defensive option, but then also turns it into a little bit of offense as well. And for a roleplay perspective, because I love classes that influence roleplay, once you hit level 14, you gain access to a spell that you can use that is either Clairvoyance or Augury, that is once per short or long rest. This just allows you to kind of consult with the spirits. You don't need to worry about any kind of material components that like other spellcasters might need to. You consult with them and you can really start kind of fleshing out things that might happen or what things that you want to see. This is one of the reasons why I absolutely love this class, and I always recommend Barbarians for people that want to play a more martial, more aggressive kind of character. My second recommendation for new players, if you're looking for a class to try out, is the Fighter. Now, I know that the Fighter gets a little bit of flack from the community because people say that it's boring. Personally, I think that it has a lot of versatility and it does its job very well, which is it's going to fight and it's going to fight and it's going to fight really well, and better than most other classes are going to be able to. Because fighters gain proficiency with any kind of weapon and armor that is out there, you have a lot of options in how you want to play. Do you want to do something that's more dexterity based? Do you want to be kind of lithe on your feet? Do you want to use light weapon? You can do that. Do you want to use the big two-handed swords or axes and heavy plate mail? You can do that as well. The champion in particular is a very versatile class because of the way that it plays. Once you hit level 10 with this class, you're actually able to adopt a up to 2 fighting styles, which means that you get additional benefits. These can range from additional chances to hit with, a sword or a bow, for example, or you can also gain benefits with using a shield, using heavy armor, using a great weapon. Versatility is really the name of the game when it comes to the champion above anything else. Fighters are also insanely good at boosting their attribute points higher than anything. This is, your strength, your dexterity, your constitution. They get more ability score improvements than any other class in the game. If you're wanting to do an insanely optimized character, the fighters are really going to be your go-to. You get more ability score improvements than the others, and if you're playing at a table that allows feats, if you don't feel like boosting an ability score, you can take those feats instead, which really helps expand your options. Sure, you may not get access to, interesting magic like some of the other casting classes are, but you are there to do one job, and you're going to find that enemy, you're going to smack it down, and you're going to be able to keep on fighting. Once you get to a high enough level with your champion, you actually begin regenerating health up to a maximum of 10 if you're not including magic items that could potentially increase your ability scores above the maximum of 20 once you drop below half health. Because of this, you're able to keep going a little bit longer than other classes are, and you don't have to worry about being healed nearly as much by the rest of your party, meaning that you can be a pretty good standalone unit if that's what you want to do. Now, the recommendation that I generally have when people are wanting to look into playing spellcasters is the Warlock class, specifically the Hexblade. Now, I know that the Hexblade is a very popular option, but there is a reason that it is that way. Hexblades really get kind of the best of both worlds. You gain proficiency with martial weapons, meaning that you have a wide variety of weapons that you can pick from that are usually either melee or ranged focus. You gain access to shields and medium armors, which a lot of the other spellcasters don't, meaning that you can already be a little bit tankier than some of the others. Along with this, you get a lot of benefits just by playing a Warlock. Sure, you don't get access to a whole lot of spells, but the spells that you do have cast at the highest possible level, meaning that they are going to be incredibly potent compared to some of your allies. And you also get some really good bonuses to the cantrips, which are non-leveled or typically weaker spells that the others don't get as well. You also have Eldritch Invocations, which really kind of allow you to flesh out your character to play the way that you want. This gives you both combat and roleplay benefits, and also can access new spells for you that you don't have to use anything to cast, you just can. Now, by playing a Hexblade, you're going to be a little bit more martial focused. You're going to be a little bit more combat focused than anything else. You are able to kind of pick any particular weapon that you are using, and instead of using the strength or dexterity scores that most other kind of martial classes have to use, you get to use your charisma instead. So you get the benefits of being a kind of silver-tongued individual that focuses on your spellcasting, and now you can use a sword as well. The bread and butter of the Hexblade specifically is the Hexblade's Curse. When you use your Hexblade's Curse against an enemy, it increases your ability to get a critical strike, meaning that instead of needing that coveted natural 20, you can actually get a critical on a 19 or a 20. It's not much, but hey, you never know, a little extra chance in your favor is really going to help. When you kill an enemy that's cursed, you also gain temporary health that is going to be dependent on your level and your class's proficiency bonus, which your dungeon master can explain that to you, but it just makes it so you're going to be a little bit tankier compared to some of the other, if you have another warlock in the party, you're going to be tankier than them. If there's a wizard in your party, you're definitely going to be tankier than them as well. Once you hit level 10 with this class, which is usually where those pre-written campaigns are ending, your hex intensifies. Once you use this on an opponent, if they try to attack you, you can use your reaction to roll a 6-sided die on anything that is a 4, 5, or 6. The attack misses you entirely, meaning that you can just automatically negate damage that's coming your way. And once you hit level 14, which is the last level that you get a unique trait with this class, you can actually take that curse, and rather than it only being on one opponent, once that opponent dies, you can actually transfer it to somebody else, though you do lose some of the benefits of gaining the temporary health in the process. I would personally recommend using the Hexblade Warlock for somebody that is new to the game. If they want to start branching into magic, I think this is a good way for them to do it. You don't have to worry about tracking a whole lot of spells. It's relatively simple to play. There's a lot of ways that you can flesh this out, and Warlocks are one of the best roleplay classes because of their otherworldly patron that they get, in my opinion. So there's a lot that you can do with this, and it's not particularly hard to pick up either. So these are the 3 main recommendations that I have for new players that are wanting to find a relatively easy to learn class that might be a little bit more difficult to master, but still has good combat and really good roleplay options available to them. Some of them you might have to get really creative with, such as that champion that we talked about, but they are also really fun to play. I know that my time with these classes has been a ton of fun, and I cannot recommend them enough. So if you've heard of something that is, maybe a little bit better for a new player, what would you recommend? If you could comment below, let me know. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it that thumbs up. And then, hey, if you want to see more content here on the channel, why not consider subscribing? But hey, until next time, see you in the next video. Bye-bye.